Oh my goodness, before I jump into what I wrote, I had not seen this video and I am completely overwhelmed with joy and so much SOE. I just want to acknowledge how grateful I am to be here, to be surrounded by every single one of you. You all look fantastic tonight, and the energy is palpable, and it's so fiery, and I love it. Anyway, just wanted to say thank you. Wow. So, before being introduced to the terms non-binary, gender fluid, trans, queer, I always knew I was different. I've always been masculine in a feminine way and feminine in a masculine way. And even though that's not something that I saw around me growing up, I felt it. So it had to be real. Now, I've always wanted to be an actor. I love that rush, that freedom, that magical, playful feeling I get whenever I get to be on stage and in front of the camera. So when I finished high school, I packed my bags at the ripe age of 17 and moved to Los Angeles from Puerto Rico. The second I got to school, though, I was told I had to let my hair grow out, but to straighten my hair because my curls didn't belong. I had to work out, but I couldn't put on muscle because I had to look more feminine, and I had to get rid of my accent or change it because I didn't sound from Latin America. I wasn't Latin enough, I wasn't sexy enough, I wasn't Caribbean enough. My version of Latin was not real enough. I was young, I was naive, I wanted to work, so I played the game. In my first years in acting school, I reduced myself and performed under their limiting version of what a sexy, spicy Puerto Rican should be and look like. And I stopped seeing myself in the mirror. Performing no longer felt freeing. Thankfully, there was one teacher who saw right through me, right through the BS. You might have heard of her, Alexandra Billings. Yeah, there we go. Her class was Viewpoints, and we spent every day exploring topography, architecture, gesture, tempo, shapes, spatial relationships, and kinesthetic response. And all of this to facilitate moving through space freely and openly. And I was stuck. So after every class, I would ask her if I am doing what she wants, and she would respond with her knowing, mischievous smile. You're gonna get there. Every time you're gonna get there, you're gonna get there. Get where? I graduated, and when I fell in love for the first time with a queer person, I crumbled. I realized I had met a prison within myself, that I wasn't moving through spaces freely and openly, that the fear society had ingrained in me was stealing me from myself and limiting my potential as a human being. A fear that led me to believe it was easier to perform as someone else instead of embracing myself wholeheartedly. Fast forward a couple years, I've come out of a couple closets. I have a mohawk now because why not? And I, as you can see, made the conscious choice of wanting to only portray queer characters. Because contrary to popular belief, I am not playing queer. I am queer. And I can be anything I want. Like a college student, an educator, a sergeant, a pirate. Anyways, back to the story. I booked my first co-star on a TV show called Transparent. And at the premiere, I ran into Alexandra Billings. And after the most loving embrace, she pulls me back and gives me that knowing, mischievous smile and says, "You got there." I got there. I finally was moving through space freely and openly. I am visible. Now, here's the thing. I have an issue with visibility because still to this day, visibility does not equate to being safe. As you all heard tonight, there are over 200 bills filed in 2022 alone that would limit the rights of LGBTQIA+ folks. I struggle because growing up in Puerto Rico, I have seen time and time again how the systems in power are constantly trying to undermine and erase us from history. Puerto Rico is a colony. We are not autonomous. A Congress that we cannot vote on assigned a fiscal group to Puerto Rico whose paychecks comes from hardworking, tax-paying Puerto Ricans and is cutting away budgets from our retirement funds, our land preservation, our education while giving tax breaks and selling our land dirt cheap to the modern-day colonizers. It is community that has kept Puerto Rico afloat. It is the queer, the Black, indigenous communities in Puerto Rico that have organized, have found resources, make a difference, make a change, and that is the same all over the world. These are the communities that empower us, that heal us, because, and to quote Alok, we represent possibility. We represent choice, being able to create a life, a way of living, a way of loving, a way of looking that's outside of what we've been told we should be. So, how do we turn visibility into sustainable inclusivity? I don't have all the answers. I am an overwhelmed millennial in a perpetual state of charming panic. But I will say this. If we nurture a sense of genuine, loving curiosity for the self and the people and the environment around us from the moment we take our first breath on this planet, if we celebrate and get excited about the discoveries we make along the way instead of shaming or fearing being different, if we choose love instead of using fear as currency, we heal our inner child and we raise the next generation of minds, spirits, souls who feel safe in their own skin and will see each other and embrace each other for who they are, who will nurture community care, who will move through space freely and openly. Soy puertorriqueña. Soy pato, marica, bucha, no binaria, y mi batería es cambio, es belleza, es resistencia. Gracias, mi gente. Buenas noches. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.